Hello, welcome back to the latest anime news for the week ending April 23rd, 2023. Starting with some weird news. This has probably already been out there. Folks have been talking about this, but Magic and Muscles is getting a stage play for some reason because everyone loves Mashla. I don't know. The anime just came out, the anime adaptation, and they're following it up with a stage play that will run in July. We now have visuals so we can actually see what it's going to look like. It looks exactly like a stage play of Mashla. So yeah, that is the thing.
Looks familiar.
I'm waiting for the Ice Capades version.
Yeah.
Exactly. Moving on, we do have some anime announcements and announcements
Indeed.
today. Let's see here. For some reason, we didn't get an image for this. Let me see if I can find it. It did not. Oh, there it is. I just got in there, kind of in a weird spot. So tying the knot with Amagami Sis is getting a TV anime. Premise is a young man who's had a rough life, but he's going to go to medical school. And then he goes to his foster home, which, wouldn't you know it, it's a shrine that has 3 cute girls working at it that are all sisters. And he has to marry one of them and take over the shrine.
I've never heard of this concept before in my life. It's amazing.
Brand new.
Fresh new wind.
Mind blown.
But hooray, more anime.
Exactly. Yes. You know, hopefully it'll be cute. It looks fun. Moving on to just straight anime news. Well, Suzume continues just climbing up the charts. It has officially made more money in China than it did in Japan over its entire run.
Amazing.
So it's made, let me check the numbers. It's made $109 million in China as of last Monday. It made 107 in Japan. Yeah, it's now the highest selling Japanese anime in China of all time. Yeah, it's just continuing to skyrocket.
Good
for them.
Another shot in the arm for anime movies. Yes.
Indeed.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Makoto Shinkai was in India promoting Suzume. I love that he brought the chair. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah, and he was talking about how much he actually loves Indian films as well. I mean, it was kind of promo stuff, but he was saying how much he likes. There's a film called RRR or Triple R over in India that's quite popular. He was saying, I want to make a film like that. It's a unique experience. I want to make films that will make Japanese viewers become Indian viewers. And will become they'll be able to come with friends and cheer out loud for the movie.
Huh.
Okay.
Great. So we won't cry. Oh, good.
Yeah, exactly.
The uplifting and magical versus uplifting, magical, and sad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and also the artist of the manga adaptation is also going to India to give a talk there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they're pushing. They're pushing. That'll be like at a college, talk. So like different event, but still.
Again, another big market.
Mm-hmm. Another big market for Suzume is the U.S., where it made $5 million in its opening weekend.
Yay! I was part of that. Yay.
Yeah, hallelujah. So that is definitely a good start for that 7th place overall, which is not too surprising. That is pretty much what Sony had projected at $5 million opening weekend.
Good.
Yes, 2.1.
As long as they're happy, that we'll get more.
Exactly. Yes. 2,000 locations, including there were IMAX screenings of Suzume. I wish I'd known that.
I would have loved that.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Weathering with You, for reference, earned just over $5 million in its first 6 days back in January 2020.
Okay.
So cool. See here, not the only anime film on the docket, though. The first Slam Dunk film made $13 million in its first day in China.
Wow.
Let me just check. That makes it how much? I don't have a total here, but it's made a lot of money. It made $35 million in South Korea. It made $9.5 million in its opening weekend in Japan. So yeah, it continues to rake it in. Man. And so they've announced they are going to bring it over to the US.
Interesting.
People love basketball, I guess.
Who knew? Yeah, coming to theaters this year in the US.
Wow.
Cool. Also, not the only anime movie on the docket. The Detective Conan film made $23 million in its first 3 days in
Great little
theaters.
series. It's a great little series.
Wow. Yeah.
Number one in its opening weekend, 2.1 million tickets. 64% more in its first 3 days than the previous Detective Conan film.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's time to start sitting down and me watch some Detective Conan.
Exactly. Yeah, we need to do that. Toho wants this film to make 10 billion yen, or about $100 million, and looks like it.
Yeah.
It's on its
Entirely
way.
possible.
Exactly. Moving away from anime films for a second, there is an upcoming Macross Frontier CGI stage show in the style of the Hatsune Miku concerts. Very cool. It'll be their first in-person CG concert called Macross F Pop-Up Stage, coming June 24th through August 27th in Tokyo, commemorating the 15th anniversary of the Macross Frontier anime. I Feel Old.
Yeah.
It will feature Cheryl Nome and Ronka Lee as life-size 3D CG characters performing different songs for each performance, some determined by audience votes, of course.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And this is the key visual, which I believe will also be, well, it's selling tickets with images of the characters. I'm not sure if it's this image specifically. Yeah, that's a thing.
So we'll be setting up our Patreon accounts, folks. So
Yeah.
wherever it shows up, we'll be able to get there to see it. Thank you.
Hopefully it'll make a tour here like Miku did. I mean,
Yeah.
see.
The nice thing about the 3D CG stuff is it's just moving technology.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
You don't have to do the whole, all the stuff you have to do for a full stage, though. So who knows?
Pack the actresses in a big box, then send them off somewhere else, and you're fine.
Exactly. Also this week, stories that we wanted to mention, at least in passing. The Kyoto Animation arson case will begin pre-trial May 8th.
Boy, it's taken a while.
It's taken quite a while. Main trial should take place between early September and late December.
Jeez.
And then that'll decide on a specific schedule and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, for those who remember, it was July 18th, 2019 when that fire broke out. And then finally, I mean, this is just, it's manga, not anime, but still kind of fun. Boys Over Flowers is now the most published shoujo manga of all time, according to the Guinness World Records. The most published copies of shoujo manga series written by a single author, 59,409,000 copies printed and in circulation as of November.
Wow.
Dang.
Wow.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Pretty
I feel like-
impressive.
I feel like it's One Piece. I haven't actually touched it yet. I'm
Yeah.
All right.
I have DVD 1 when it came
Wow.
out. Yeah.
Wow.
I got a copy of it. I really enjoyed that show. It's a fun thing. All right, let us move along into the breakdown. Let's see, which I do not have a slide for. I forgot to do that, but we'll do that at some point. It's okay. Let's see here. Let's talk about. We got to talk about Mashla. Really, we just do.
Yeah.
The show that looks like something else. It's on the tip of my tongue. It looks like
What are you-
kind of
what are you
something.
talking about?
It just.
Yeah. It's
I feel it just something there, something about it.
it's so
Seems familiar.
quick to the stage play. I mean,
Yeah.
it just rolled out as an anime. They're not even on like episode 3. I mean, like, so is this a wildly popular franchise that just has generated this much groundswell that people are like, oh, we love the manga, we love the novel, we love whatever, and we now need a stage play.
Yeah. The manga started in 2020.
Okay.
So, there are 16 volumes so far. So that's a lot.
Okay.
You got some subject there. Okay.
Definitely. So I don't know. Let me see. It is also on its final arc, apparently.
Okay.
So that could also be pushing it.
Right.
Looking for any other news items on there. I'm not sure. It's a Shueisha title, obviously.
It just really feels like they pushed this to stage play.
Real quick.
Really,
well, I mean, I think it's probably one of those things where they actually plan to do this at the same time at the anime.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
Yeah. You know, I mean, they had to. I think they're just capitalizing on the train of the final arc, and they're just, hey, let's just try and Mugen Train this thing, and just
throw it all at the same time.
And see what sticks. And
it's also interesting to me that it's running July 4th through 11th, and then 15th through 17th at 2 different events. That's not much.
No.
Yeah.
And granted, that may be common for animated stage play adaptations, where you get 2 weeks basically. But yeah, I mean, it looks like the characters pretty much.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep. Do we get the? I almost want to see this just so if I can see if he can just be the just the dumbed down version of.
So that's the question. Like, we all know what this character is like. How do you base a stage play off of that character?
Yeah,
like, this feels like the most dull protagonist.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's not going to translate to stage play well.
How much money did you watch a dullard walking back and forth across the stage?
Also for only a 2-week run, how much are you investing in flexing this protagonist cut?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because his thing is like bashing things physically, so it's like you've got a lot of prop damage that's going to be happening. Like, is the return on this going to be that great?
Yeah, it's weird.
And obviously the derivative nature of the actual show itself.
Yeah.
Are you going to have a lot of people that are going to rave about it? Or are you going to have a lot of people that are coming to be like, yes, this is exactly the knockoff of what we thought it was, and we're going to tell all of our friends like, nah, it ain't worth it.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't see, sitting there watching this and just going, well, he's just as every bit as stupid on stage as he is on the anime. And wow, how much were the set pieces that they have to destroy and then put back together every night?
Yeah,
that actually may be the honest to God that may be the reason why for the short run. Yeah. Because if they have to, because you have, well, I mean, it's in the picture right there. He's crushing the wand. Yeah. So, there's only so much prop stuff that you can make it break away and then put it back together again.
Yeah.
So that there just may be a cost to the show that just, they just can't do it for a long time.
And in fairness, it probably would not be a good idea to announce a 6-month run.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we're on for 5 nights total. Everyone will show up and we're done.
Yeah, come and get it.
Yeah.
Well, if it goes well, do we then get the Ice Capades? Do we then get the musical? You know what I mean? It's like, is this the test for how fast can we go from manga to anime to stage play to the next thing?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the other question too is this just the other thing you do? Like, everything gets a stage play. Right. It feels at this point.
Agami Sis, whatever it is, it's getting an anime and a stage play at the same time. Like, no, not everything needs this.
I do feel
clothing for that one.
Yeah. Jeez.
Oh my
goodness gracious.
And I do feel that much like the anime that we just saw this past week, I really do feel like they're going to capitalize on all the show that this looks like. Those fans are
Harry Potter.
Yes, exactly. That they're going to come in and want to see this because it looks like the thing that they love.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, whatever.
Will they be excited or will they be disappointed?
Actually, no. It's not going to be Ice Capades that's going to be next for this thing. It's going to be a theme park.
Oh yeah. Knock, knock. We are Universal Studios.
Right.
No. This is the magicking universe of Mary Goddard.
Right.
It's nothing to do with any of your licenses. This is totally new and inventive.
There is a Bollywood film called Harry Potter.
Oh boy.
And we went to court over it. Like, they got sued, and the judge was like, they got just different enough.
Yeah.
Like, we if they were an inch closer, we would have got them. But no, it's just clearly derivative enough, or parodic enough. It's like, oh.
And I think that's probably where this lays. It's in that sort of gray area where it's very obvious, but not entirely. Like, not ripping on anybody else, just close, just kind of
exactly. Let's talk Suzume.
Yes.
Because my goodness, we've all seen this movie, and we all rather like it.
Yes.
It's quite the movie, and it's doing well everywhere.
Thank goodness, because I got really worried with the preview release. I think last week we said it was like it only made 680,000, where it was like, oh boy. Yeah. But that was pre-release. Now we're into full release. It's like, yes, we're picking up Steam places. It's like good.
Well, it like Brent said earlier, it made the goal.
Yeah.
So that's everything else is cake. So is icing, and which is good. And I'm like literally, just for me, I'm just like, I paid my $19 to go see this movie. I contributed. But you're
an anime supporter.
There we go. Where's my t-shirt? Anyway, so but like going into the theater and watching it, and like at first being the only person there, and then having an elderly couple will come in and watch it, which is kind of amusing. But now that it's hit its 5 million, which means that
I think we're losing Steve there.
And they're gonna want to bring it in. Other people are gonna want to steamroll this, I think. Yeah.
Steve, could you repeat that? You broke up for a second.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying that now that it's hit its 5 million mark, it's going to hopefully do a little bit more of a steamroll job now that people are like, oh, it's out here and people are liking it. Yeah. Because what you've got on screen is just a taste of what you'll get on the screen. Yeah. Because this, folks, if you can get to the movie theater to see this, even if it's not an IMAX screen, which would have been awesome.
IMAX would have been really cool.
This is just, it's Shinkai, so it's visually stunning, and the backgrounds are always amazing. And in this one particular one, you're just gonna be like, the whole screen, you're just like, okay, can we just freeze it here so I can just like just do a slow pan with my head across the screen? This is just so beautiful.
Man, yeah, it's nuts. So what do we think? Like, do you think this is going to impact the movies that Shinkai makes in the future? His films have been very Japanese. They feel pretty much about. It's about an earthquake.
Yeah,
it's really bad. That's a pretty Japanese thing. It's very much about Japanese high schoolers doing their thing. Do you think he's going to shift around? There's actually a news story this week that said that he originally wanted this to be 2 girls, where it's going to be a road trip with 2 different girls who are doing all this. And its producer said, your fans like romance between a boy and a girl too much. You can't do that. Denied, basically.
Wow, corporate notes. Nice.
Yeah, pretty much that. And so he said, all right, well, I'll make him a chair. So at least it's not going to be that
I don't think
it's a touching, warm story of a girl in her chair.
Yeah.
What?
Well, there was that moment. No. I don't think he's going to really abandon it being a Japanese movie. We talked about him liking Indian movies and wanting to kind of do a version of that. I think he could probably do something that would be inclusive for Americans to see this. And I think, if anything, that this is going to sell the point is that when you realize what the event was, that was a pretty historic event that can drag a lot of people in. But I think by virtue of the fact that we have had Mugen Train and so many other movies that are coming over here and hitting their budgets, and then doing on top of that, I think that there's definitely going to be a core audience that's just going to be like to the rest of the people, and they're going to be like during the movie, okay, so they actually do wear that, or that's something they actually eat. Yes. So I think you'll get a little bit of that, but
I think as we've talked about before, it's like 30 years ago. I could see that being like a discussion where somebody who's in upper echelons of Hollywood kind of thing is like, I don't know if this is going to sell in America. There's just not, they don't really understand things that much.
But I think we
right, and I think we live now in a time, and like I said, we've talked about before, where it's like Naruto, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, the card games, the animes. There is a base level understanding and awareness of and exposure to that I don't think that Shinkai, the way he makes the films that are Japanese, the universal sort of things that they discuss, loss and tragedy and dealing with trauma and coping and how you move on and interaction between people and all these the community, the wa the concept of wa might not be there, but the idea of like helping people in need and being there to assist one another is that's nothing that's particularly Japanese.
Sure.
That somebody would sit down and watch this film and be like, I just can't understand it from a cultural perspective. It's like, no, there's a lot of universals in this, and I think all of the exposure that we've had now over at least the last 20 years, certainly much more intensely in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I think any of these films are going to be able to play out well in America, that it will be, the audience is going to get that, and it's not going to be so exclusive.
Let me ask you guys this. Let's say that Shinkai announces this was the last of his disaster trilogy, right? So we have Your Name, Weathering with You, Suzume, and he goes, my next film is going to be something a little different. What would you want that to be? Right? It's not going to be a completely, blank slate, but he says it's not going to be a, disaster-focused movie. What would you like Shinkai to do next? Because for me, I would love to see him go back to something like The Garden of Words. I would like to see just a modern, relational, dramatic comedy kind of a story. Nothing. I love his fantastic stuff, but he's so delicately balanced all of those elements with that and made it entrancing, despite it just being, a modern story of two people. It's a Hallmark movie. Kind of, but it works so incredibly well.
Well, how about, would you consider it now that you're saying that, it's like the idea coming across my head, it's like, okay, if I'm not going to do a disaster film, could I do something that is more culturally relevant to not disaster, but a slow disaster?
Oh, okay.
So a film where he has protagonist Kun, protagonist Chan, or some event that draws people together, that is older 30s, 40s people, and them watching, their parents aging, and watching an aging community and not seeing as many children, and addressing that kind of issue of like, well, I had always wanted my career, and I had never thought about taking time to have kids, and then seeing like a relation develop where people make a choice to actually have kids, even though it's, the aging population is making things harder, jobs are not as readily available, blah, 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 whatever, how you want to do this. But something where it's like, it's not disastery,
right?
But it is a deep soul searching about what things you want for yourself and what things are good for the society in general.
Yeah.
So basically, like that.
Basically, you want him to do Ikaru.
I don't know. I've not seen Ikaru.
Which one is Ikaru?
Ikaru is a Kurosawa movie. It has the leader of the Seven Samurai from the Seven Samurai movie.
Oh, wow.
And in there, and he is dying of cancer, and his children are.
Yes, I see this. Yeah.
And it is. I mean, that would be totally up Shinkai's alley. And yes, John, you would be crumpled into the fetal position.
Oh, sorry, make me cry.
Right? Yeah. So I could totally see him doing something along like, but I think it fits what you were saying, John. That's what it sounds like to me. I have like actually like one like general kind of idea of what kind of movie he would like to do, and one's actually very specific. I'll go with the specific one. Remember the sci-fi one he made about communication?
Voice of a Distant Star?
Yeah. It was like a 40-minute. I would like him to redo that as a 2-hour movie.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not a disaster. It's just that's that story of communication, because that's what he does so very well. I think the other, I think in general, I think and this is probably along John's concept, where we're talking about moving on, and when a lot of animated movies are about saving the family business. He doesn't really do those things that way. I think it would be natural for him to do the family business is not saved. And moving on from that. Like the people, like John was saying, making the decision of going, I can't do this. But I can do that. And these are the repercussions, and having to deal with those relationships. And it's kind of, and it would be something of like, oh gosh, what was the anime about the candy store with the little orphan girl? Like Diamond. But like, just say this has been going on for 5 generations, and the 6th generation has called it quits. And how do you deal with that and move on?
Yeah.
So you're not the Cafe Goddesses where he takes grandma's business over with the girls, but somebody who's
right.
Like, no, I actually am bulldozing.
It was interesting. Right.
Yeah, I love that. It would be really. I can see the opening sequence of just the guy standing there, in front of the family shop, and then he just locks the door.
Yeah.
And
we talked about so many times about the nobility of failure.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like the family thing failed. Now, how do you rise from that?
Yeah.
I can see that. I would like that.
I saw some really interesting stuff about folks, ironically, after the Tohoku disaster, of folks just like after that, like they lost everything. And so like they started a bar, and were like, what I really needed at that time was that little community of the people who all got together in that, 6-seat bar, wherever.
Right.
That was wiped away. And so I started something like that for myself in a completely different city, but just that's that was my new direction in life.
Yeah.
Never did anything in the hospitality industry before, but this was my thing, and now I'm going to go in that direction. Be really interesting to cover that kind of stuff. Yeah. Cool.
And if anybody picks these ideas up, they are ours. We'll gladly take the royalty checks.
Yes.
Thank
you. Yes, indeed.
Like the guy who's suing over Lord of the Rings. I don't know if you heard of that story.
Oh Lord, why?
Okay, we're gonna do a quick side anime thing because this is hilarious. Wow. So I'm gonna paraphrase. There is an individual who is suing Amazon because after Lord of the Rings came out, he wrote his own series of fantasy novels inspired by Lord of the Rings, and he sent them to J.R.R. Tolkien, who didn't have much to say, oddly. But now the Lord of the Rings movies the Lord of the Rings TV shows come out on Amazon, and they're exactly like his books, and so he wants $250 million, please.
God, I wish it was that easy.
Exactly.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, $250 million is what he's asking for because they ripped off his fanfic.
Maybe they'll settle out for $100 million.
Maybe that's
or maybe they'll say it was fanfic on something that was not yours. So no.
Come on, just okay. How about $50 million?
Yeah,
we'll just,
okay.
$25 million, and I'll just let it all go. Okay, sure.
Oh dear.
It's one less gassing up the rocket, sure.
Yeah. Let's talk Slam Dunk, because my goodness, it's coming to theaters in the U.S.
Cool. Didn't we just talk about this last week too? I think you'd said something about how South Korea Slam Dunk was like insanely popular.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see here. I am pulling up the data now. It is the 25th highest earning film of all time in Japan. Not just anime.
Basketball.
Yeah. It's earned just under $100 million in Japan. Number one, it's opening weekend. 1.2 million tickets. No, I'm sorry. 847,000 tickets. Yeah. It's just kind of insane.
So when is it?
Have you guys seen any part of Slam Dunk?
Don't think so.
No.
It's got to be. I mean, there's got to be something wildly fantastic about it to get people like just dialed in.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, then Doraemon films also do great, and I've never seen Doraemon, so I have no idea.
So when is it coming over thereabouts?
This year is all
this year, sometime Amorphous this year.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, as we were talking about earlier, this will be one of those anime movies where it's not going to be important about knowing Japanese culture. It's going to be about be about the sport. Yeah. It's about basketball, and we have insane people who love basketball. I am not one of them, but I'm more of a football guy. But anyway,
missed out by not releasing it during March for March.
That's why I was going to go with. That's why I was asking. So, but to the point is that as people know about anime, they're going to go to this, and then this is going to be one of those Cowboy Bebops where I don't know what the hell anime is. I mean, what do I care? Oh, this thing is wonderful. I don't know what anime this is, but you like basketball, right? Yeah, let's check it out. Very well could be the thing that's like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. But it might be just a really particularly niche market of people who enjoy basketball.
It should also be pointed out, and I had forgotten this. The screenplay is written by and it is directed by the mangaka.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
So that's one of the reasons why it's a big deal.
True to what it is.
Damn. So for Slam Dunk fans, sure, I'm sure every single one of them were in theaters.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of nuts.
Is there a Blue Lock film coming?
But yeah, that's kind of nuts. So yeah, who knows? He also did Vagabond. I forgot that.
Oh,
Vagabond.
Right. I hadn't thought about that in forever.
Yeah, that's him.
Wow.
So yeah, I have a tough time imagining sports anime having an appeal over here. But the thing is, you're not going here to watch a sports anime TV series that's 500 episodes long. You're like, there's a basketball anime movie, sure, or I've heard of Slam Dunk. I'll drop $15 and go see it in theaters.
Well, here's the other thing though, in support of that. How much did Space Jam and Space Jam 2 make?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
It's going to be those people. It's going to be those people that are going to watch this.
Yep. You're right.
Well, I'll be honest.
Which is not bad.
It's like that first Otakon that we went to, Brent, and I bought the little Umaru-chan squishy, stress squishy for $5.
Yeah.
I turned around to you and went like, I spent $5 on anime. I'm a supporter. I'm at a point where it's like, I don't know anything about this, but I feel like compelled to go see it in a theater to see what it's about, which I could watch the series, I could see what it's about, but just to see what the film is like, and also to be a recorded. Oh, this other anime film did pretty good. It's like, I feel like that compulsion to be like, I might not enjoy it that much since I'm not a basketball fan, but I really like the idea that if it does well, we'll get other movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm with you there.
So we'll see.
More anime, please. Basically.
Yes. More anime films that we wouldn't have expected. Not that Shinkai or Oshii or any of the the other Miyazaki. Not that those aren't great.
Can you imagine that double feature? Can you imagine that double
Slam Dunk
feature?
and Totoro.
No, Slam Dunk and the Egg.
Angel's Egg.
Angel's
so
Egg.
that's what I'm thinking. What if Oshii makes a film now? Wow.
See, if
from
these
the director of Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, if these things keep making some dough, it's like
Man.
we could get
Yeah.
unexpected properties making films, and I'm like, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can
Okay.
hope.
That's what that's my prediction. We're gonna get Ghost in the Shell 3.
We very well
because whoever owns that is gonna go to Ishii and go, you make this now. I don't care. Here's a bucket of money, because that's going to go into theaters and make $150 million.
Okay, I'm going to start this check with a 1 and a comma. 0. Tell me when to stop. 0, 0, 0. Yeah, just keep going.
Are you familiar with the concept of a Google? Not sure I can write that many zeros. Keep writing. But I mean, that's the kind of idea that I'd like to see, is like where you get, not only just the big name people who are going to be like, well, you know what, now is a time where it's profitability. We can afford to do a big budget something or other that I've always wanted to do. But we can also get more obscure up and coming folks where it's just like, hey, you know what? We've worked well with the Suzume thing, and Slam Dunk did great. So, and we got Detective Conan coming. So sure, let's take something, we'll run with that one and see how it runs. It did well at the Palme d'Or. It did well at Sundance, and now we're just going to go national way.
I'm not going to lie. I would love to see, and this is probably you guys have never heard. I think I've mentioned it before, but Kurosagi Corpse Service,
right?
It's just begging for an anime, and this would just be really nice if they could just go to the guy to I forget who did the manga, and just gave him a check and said, let us do the thing and just have it done. Let's make a movie.
Yeah.
I would, oh my God, I would probably die in the theater by the end credits, but just because I'd be so happy to see it. But no, that would be my hope. Like you all, just to, get more of these titles, because that is an obscure title.
Yeah.
But can you imagine that? Like what if we get more Ranma movies? What if we get more, not just Ghost in the Shell? What if we get Berserker? No.
It's a very particular type of audience.
No.
I have a worse one, but I'm not going to say it.
Let's not. Yeah, no.
Begins with Legend. No.
Hey, that already was in theaters in a portion, at least, not in its entirety, but by portion.
That is true. I'm thinking. What was that anime film? Because I'm thinking, Lonely Castle in the Mirror. So that's the thing. Like,
yeah.
It's the thing G-Kids announced that they're licensing. This is kind of some children's movie. We're getting more of that. So let's all go and support those things as well.
Yeah.
What if we get what if they allow Pippi Longstocking? Ghibli to do Pippi.
Miyazaki would come out of his retirement for that.
Yes.
Oh, good night.
You would.
Yes.
Miyazaki, the Michael Jordan of animation.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting How Do You Live? So, he's getting his adaptations done. Who knows? Yeah. Exciting times.
Yes, indeed.
All right. That'll do it for us. Thank you all for watching. That's all the news for this week. See you all next week.
Sayonara.
Kiss to Papa.